Hi, welcome to lesson number 6. I'd like to talk a bit about basic chord melody, and I've picked a tune I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's called Autumn Leaves. I'll just play my little arrangement here and we'll talk about what's happening. Good. I checked that out, of course. I didn't just improvise it, and I'll show you some of the things that I did here. The tune has a AABA form, as a lot of jazz tunes do, and the first part of the tune I played in the lower register. So we've got a C minor 7 chord, and the melody actually leads to the third. So actually, if we want to just play sort of small shapes, it would be enough if we just played the 7th under that third. We could play a complete minor 7 chord. But again, it's not necessary. We have a bass player in the rhythm section, and just by adding the 7th, the chord is clear. Remember in previous lessons that I said in a 2/5 progression, it's important to be able to hear the movement of the 7th to the 3rd. So that's all that's happening here. If you wanted to play fatter chords, or chords with more notes, we'll talk about these sort of shapes in a future lesson about chord voicings, but let's make it easy for ourselves first of all. Then we have to play the rest of the melody. So again, with the guitar we have a lot of different possibilities for playing certain melodies, at least 2 fingerings. I picked this fingering because I like the sound of the fatter string, the D and the G string. Now we have a B flat major chord, and here I've just put the 7th under the melody note, which is the 3rd. And depending on what chord progression we're playing, either it's 2 bars on B flat, which you could play the B flat 6, or it goes to E flat, in which case this bottom note is a 3rd of the E flat chord. And the chord shapes actually are always an answer to the melody. The melody sets up the first statement. check the PDFs. That's on the 3 and 4 and. Then we have the melody continuing to an A minor 7 flat 5 chord. And here I've played the melody on the 5th fret, which is the 3rd again. So just to make it easy, just put the 7th. You don't need to have the flat 5 or any other notes. And that's the 3rd of the D7. Again, the melody lands on the 3rd again, so it's quite a good tune for listening to melodies that land on the 3rd. So that's the B flat. And just to have an extra color, I played the major 7, minor 7 going down to the 6th on the minor chord. It's just a matter of filling in the space. You have 2 bars in that chord. Now it's a swing rhythm, so our basic building blocks are triplets. That means, but that's of course too much if I play all of the triplets. But if I just sort of make it a little more understatement, 3, 4, 1. Offbeats, remember that they create a lot of tension. Okay, so then the tune moves on to the B section, and I decided to change up to a higher register. Just to increase the excitement. Now that's A minor 7 flat 5, and of course if I played it here, I would have this shape. But because the guitar fretboard is divided up into string groups, which I'll tell you more about in another lesson, it's possible to play this chord up here on the next string group. Now, just depending on how difficult you want to make things for yourself, you could play a 4-note chord, or you could just play some of that chord. I think that was my choice. Okay, now it goes to D7, and that's part of a minor cadence, so that D7 should have a flat 9, which is actually already there. It's the E flat. It'd be like doing this. But I like chords that have fewer notes. It makes it easier to play. Okay, then we get to G minor. So this is the 3rd again. If we wanted to, we could play the minor 7 to the 6th, or even if we want to try playing the major 7. Because remember, we're in harmonic minor. That's the major 7, but it does sound a little difficult sometimes, so that's why we can resolve to the flat 7. I mean, these sort of things, you have to develop a taste for it over some time. Sometimes the major 7 is a very nice sound, but just be aware that you can lead down to the 6th or even to the 5th. You get that James Bond effect. Good, and then the next part